All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. That belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. I already made a blessed election be upon your houses. All right, the title and topic of this lesson, all right, is going to basically be, all right, on taking care of yourself. All right, taking care of your physical health. All right, and that also correlates with your spiritual health. All right, and it's very important to take care of yourself, man. Watch what you eat healthier, eat cleaner, exercise. All right, you see, the apostles and also a lot of other brothers have been going into emphasizing and expressing the importance of ultimately taking care of yourself. All right, I want to grab this precept real quick. This is in the Apocrypha. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 38th chapter, verse 4. And it reads, "The Lord had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them." Right? So there's a lot of medicinal benefits that you could get from herbs, from natural things, from eating with a cleaner diet. All right. All these herbs that is grown from the earth, that comes from the earth, has a lot of benefits from them. All right, you have herbs that would, assist with blood flow, herbs that could assist with, detoxing the body and taking out toxins and cleansing your body, all different types of benefits, man, that could ultimately help improve your health. And as that improves your health, that also improves, your spirit also, and I had looked this up real quick. I just typed in physical health, all right, linked to spiritual health. All right, and right here, just from the AI overview, it says spiritual well-being can positively impact physical health by reducing stress, improving mood, and potentially strengthening the immune system. All right, and I'll scroll down a little bit, right? And right here we see some of the bullet points. It says energy and motivation, right? Focus and concentration, and having focus and concentration is very important when it comes down to this ministry, man. When it comes down to going on the highways and hedges, when it comes down to making the lessons, right? Because if your physical health is through, ultimately you're not taking care of yourself, and then now say you gotta wake up the next day to go to camp, you feeling lethargic, or you gotta wake up to, make your lesson for the day, you getting complacent, you don't have that energy, it all ultimately stems back to taking care of your physical health, man. Taking care of yourself is very important. All right, improve mental clarity. A lot of times people be having so much things on their mind, so much like mental blockage, you could say. It's because they physical health isn't there, man. You'll see things of like what do you call it, insomnia, and that was something that I was suffering from, man. Insomnia, not being able to sleep well. All right, that really all stems back to your health, man. So you gotta eat cleaner, take the herbs, fasting is very, very crucial, important, not only for your physical health but also your spiritual health, man. All right, so these things go hand in hand together, man. All right, so it's very important to take care of yourself. Okay, this is Ephesians, the 6th chapter, verse 12, and it reads, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." All right, so us knowing, understand that there is high levels of witchcraft, high levels of warfare, sorceries, things that these elites is doing in the shadows. We have to be, spiritually, prepared, man. We have to be spiritually equipped to combat, these high levels of wickedness that's basically attacking us, man. All right, so we have to, or I could say one of the ways to combat those things, to, make sure our spirit is on point, is to take care of our physical health, man. All right, is to take care of ourselves. All right, that is very important, man. Take the herbs, drink teas, eat cleaner, shit. Don't eat the fast food. Better stop eating that McDonald's and Wendy's and all that, BS, man. All right, because they put in all types of MSGs, all types of preservatives, all types of GMOs. All right, and really, when you do the research in these things, right, link back to, ultimately destroying you, man, destroying your spirit, man, destroying your temple. All right, you know, again, like I just read, right, we this is a spiritual warfare, man. So these devils know in order to attack you, right, they try to attack you from within, attack you with what you consume, attack you with the air, with the food, and all these different things, man. All right, because they trying to destroy you from inside out, ultimately, man. All right, so it's important to, take care of yourself, man. Exercise, get out into nature, man. And things of that sort. All right, because ultimately, you'll see the benefit in your spiritual health, man. Okay, I used to hear this saying when I was younger, growing up. If for someone that was going through a depression or going through things that they basically was just feeling down in the spirit, ultimately, I used to always hear my mother used to always say this. She used to always say, basically, don't dress like your circumstances. In other terms, man. Pretty much saying, take care of yourself, man. Wake up, exercise, have a productive day, eat healthy, eat something good, just taking care of yourself, man. All right, and that is very important. This is Galatians, the 5th chapter, verse 17, and reads, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." So ultimately, it's a constant battle between the left hand side and the right hand side, right? The flesh versus the spirit. All right, so these devils are constantly trying to attack you, with left hand forces, and we have to be, again, like I said, spiritually equipped, spiritually prepared. All right, and making sure that we are on point. All right, beginning with, our physical health, beginning with, making sure that, eating clean, because mind you, we already follow the, the laws, statutes, commandments that's in the scriptures, the dietary laws, things of that sort. All right, but take it a step up, eat cleaner, exercise, because you will feel that shift or that change, that benefit in the spirit, man. You'll feel more energetic, you'll be able to, produce more, in the spirit. All these things go hand in hand together, man. All right, we gotta take care of this flesh that the Lord gave to us, man. These bodies, man. Because it goes hand in hand with our spiritual health. Another key thing too, crucial thing too, is praying, man. Praying and fasting. All right, I'm gonna start. This is I believe this is Matthew the 17th chapter. I can start at verse 17. It reads, "The Yahushua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me." And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, "Why could we not cast them out?" Right, so ultimately the disciples, couldn't cast out, a demon. All right, and Yahushua was able to cast it out. And then the disciples asked him, "How were you able to cast it out, but we couldn't cast it out?" And Yahushua said unto them, "Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as the grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, this kind go out by prayer and fasting." All right, so prayer and fasting is very important, man. All right, again, right, showing you that correlation and that connection with your physical health and your spiritual health, man. Because when you are praying and fasting, man, that's a hell of a combative way to fight demons. All right, because not only are you what's the word I'm looking for? When you're fasting, is another one I'm thinking of, but it's slipping my mind. Not only are you refraining your body from eating and drinking, but you're also praying, man. That's boosting your spirit, man. Going to show you, that correlation in, with your, ultimately your physical health and your spiritual health, man. So these things are very important and crucial to have, man. It makes you feel way better in the spirit, man. If you battling, anxiety, you're getting depressed in this place, you're getting constantly vexed, whatever the case may be, as we already know that it's part of the walk. We know that we experience this, man. But taking care of ourselves, assists, man. It helps with that, man. It eases the burdens, that comes with being in Babylon, man. So it's important to, take the herbs, exercise, eat cleaner, eat healthier, all right? And ultimately, take care of yourself so you can feel that benefit in your spiritual health, man. It goes hand in hand, okay? But hey, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect of Israel. With that being said, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwadash, that belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to his truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and a ball, Kwame Sharala, shalom.